Hi there and welcome to Focus on Frisco. You're watching SCTV 10. Thanks for joining us. Spring is right around the corner and I have Nora with us from All Things Fun for the town of Frisco. It's always great when we see your face, as I always say, because it means we're going to talk about events and just the cool stuff that's planned and on the horizon for getting people into town, right? It's been a great winter so far, hasn't it? I know.
Yes, it really
the
has.
Streets are packed. I think you and I talked on this the last time that we talked, was that it's so fun and to hear people say, I just love coming to Frisco. I just love, and sometimes they, branch out and go other places, obviously to ski. But then they come back and stay in Frisco, and we love that.
Absolutely. We're the center of it all. It's easy access to anywhere you want to go in Summit County or Eagle County even.
Well, and that's just it. I think the last time we talked, you had some neighbors that were staying and going and skiing elsewhere.
Yeah.
Like in Eagle every day.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
And they loved staying and
So
home
cool.
basing out of Frisco.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. So when I say all things fun, I mean all things fun. The first thing that we're going to talk about is Easter.
Easter, it's coming up really quick here. Short
We
ways away.
can maybe hope that the snow will be melted. Can the Easter Bunny still hide eggs in the snow?
Absolutely, and it may make things a lot more interesting.
I know, right?
Yes. So we will have Easter again this year at the Historic Park and over at Town Hall on the lawn.
And the
Snow
reason
or
that you have
shine.
it in two different locations is, in fact, because you split it for the big kids and the little kids.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We like to put the little kids on the lawn at Town Hall so
Okay.
that they're not competing for eggs with the big kids.
It hasn't always been like that, has it? Or just since it really grew, maybe?
As long as I've been there, it's
Oh, it
been
has.
like that.
Okay. All right. I couldn't remember how long it's been.
Yes.
All right. So, yeah, that's a great idea. So the little ones aren't competing with the big ones who take very large steps and have larger hands,
Yes,
of course.
exactly.
Yeah.
And can take more eggs. So the little kids will be on the lawn at Town Hall, and then 5 to 8 will be at the Historic Park, and we'll kind of try to separate them out there as well.
Same time, though?
Same time, we'll start at the crack of noon.
Whew, perfect.
The church bells will ring
Gosh, fun.
over at the museum, and then everyone can get going.
That's very cool. Now, of course, you don't have to sign up or anything like this. You just show up on Easter morning
Absolutely.
/ afternoon. You might want to get there a little bit early because this is a pretty popular event.
It is a popular event. We see about 400 children every year for this event.
400? Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
a lot.
That's more than in the town of Frisco by a lot.
It is, and we like to encourage the kids 8 and older to go to Copper where they have a little bit more room, a little bit more eggs.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's a little bit more fun for the older
For
kids.
the older kids, yeah. And this really is geared more toward the younger kids, that just because it's very compact. But then
Yes.
as you mentioned, up at Copper, it's spread out. You can, there's a lot more kind of going on. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And as the kids and parents get together at either Town Hall or at the Historic Park, certainly we encourage people to be kind to others, as this is one of the things that Easter is all about.
Absolutely.
And be aware of the other kids that are in and around.
Yes, and the Easter Bunny tries to lay about 7 eggs per child, so we encourage you to stick within that parameter there.
Sounds great.
It's a great opportunity to teach your child about sharing and that you don't need every egg within sight and that it is a great time to share and show others that, we can have a good
Caring
time
and
if we all
thoughtful.
work together.
Absolutely. And it really is a lot of fun. The kids have a great time. Now, one of the things that everybody does need to remember that while the Easter Bunny does a fantastic job, he does need some adults there to help oversee everything after he's made his way back into his rabbit hole. So what do you suggest for people to do if they would like to volunteer?
We need about 10 volunteers for this event. We do have a new volunteer program at the town of Frisco, so we're trying to get everyone kind of signed up and on board early. So go to our website, www.townoffrisco.com, and sign up to be a volunteer. Or you can call the information center to do that.
That sounds great. Now that kind of brings us into our next topic, which is in fact volunteering. There are so many events that happen throughout the year where we need volunteers, whether it's just for signing people up or actually wandering around. Anything that you can do is probably needed as a volunteer.
Absolutely.
But you've mentioned that besides the barbecue, the system for volunteering with the town has changed a little bit. Do you want
Yes.
to tell us about that?
So basically, and it's changed basically town-wide. So we are kind of trying to give a little more training to our volunteers so that they feel a little more empowered. And we do a little bit more paperwork to get you on board, and the town has actually started doing background checks, which takes a couple of days.
Right.
But that's just to ensure the youth security and the safety of everyone involved in these events.
I think it's great. It's a great idea. There are kids, there's everything. So I think it's a great idea. So the process for somebody who wants to volunteer, if they've been volunteering for years, do they still need to go through everything?
Yes, we would appreciate that. We need to keep everyone on a level playing field and on board doing the same thing.
Great.
No special circumstances for anyone.
Absolutely.
And so just, again, go through townoffrisco.com and get signed up, and we'll just get you started on paperwork. And it's great not only to get you a little more training, but it also helps present to you the broader opportunities that the town of Frisco has to get involved with your community.
And it's my understanding, I think from the last time that we talked with you guys, was it gives you an opportunity to kind of put in that application, this is the stuff I like to do, so that you can be better matched to what it is that you like to do.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, and so we'll get you lined up doing things that you like to do, that you maybe have some past skills towards doing, and see where else we can use you.
Absolutely, and on a note with volunteering, the more research they've been doing is the more people volunteer, the better they feel and the better they make their community.
Absolutely.
And I think it's a really important thing to remember that this is such a great thing to do, not only for your community, but for yourself. And it's tons of fun. I mean, all the events that go on all summer, my gosh. It's great.
Yeah,
so
we have a lot of fun stuff going on.
Tons and tons of stuff.
Great to be involved.
When we were driving down to school today, we were looking at all the banners that are starting to go into this summer and fall. And my 8-year-old said, "Oh my gosh, I always forget how many cool things there are to do all year long." And I said, "Yeah." And it really is. And all of those things need volunteers. So get in there to townoffrisco.com to get the application and get in there and get it done. Now, the one thing we'll touch on just briefly, because it's still a ways away, especially with the snow as deep as it is, Town Cleanup Day.
Yes.
And that's coming up in May.
May 17th.
Okay.
Yes,
so
and hopefully
mid-May.
the snow will be melted by then. And
I'll believe it when I
clean
see it.
up
I don't know
town.
about your yard, but it is deep in
It
ours.
is deep.
Yeah,
It is.
And
so we may have a lot to clean
I
up
was just
this
going to
year.
say, I can only imagine all the exciting things that are going to be uncovered when the snow actually does melt. So that should make for a very, very exciting town cleanup day.
Absolutely.
Last year was one of the anniversaries, I think, and you guys took a big town picture.
Yes, we did. We celebrated the 30th anniversary of the museum and historic park and did a big community photo like they did back. They did it about every 5 years, I believe, in the past. So we did that. If you'd like to see that, you can go by Todd Powell or stop by the museum in the historic park.
And the reason I wanted to touch on that photo was, in fact, because you can see how many smiling faces there were doing town cleanup last year. And it really is a lot of fun. You guys do raffles, there's a barbecue afterward, and it just kind of shines up the town to get ready for summer.
Absolutely, yes. And we have great bands, great raffles, like you said. And we will do the contest again this year for the most unique, the grossest, and most valuable items found.
Oh, there's some good ones. There are some good ones. So here are the dates that you need to remember. April 20th, which is Easter Sunday.
Easter Sunday.
And that is the Easter egg hunt, not only at Town Hall for the little ones, but also at the Historic Park for the big ones. We want to remind everybody that if you want to volunteer for that Easter, you need to get your volunteer application in straight away. So don't hesitate. Go on to townoffrisco.com, get that application, or certainly go to the Info Center or Town Hall to get more information. And then May 17th, we'll talk about it again before it gets any closer. But that is Town Cleanup Day. So there's a lot on the horizon already, and it's not even June.
I know.
We're
planning for another great summer.
I know, it's going to be great, and it's coming so fast. When I looked at the calendar this morning, I was shocked. I was shocked. We've had such a great influx of people coming in for spring break and people staying in town and eating and all of that stuff. And I'm actually going to be talking to Chad, who's going to talk to us about sales tax. And I can only imagine that the numbers are going to be very exciting to hear about. But we've
riveting stuff.
Riveting stuff. Are you making fun of us? Because this is one of my favorite segments. Chad and I love talking about this. So it's going to be great. We've got a great summer ahead of us. So make sure you stay tuned not only to SCTV 10 for Focus on Frisco, but the websites, and everything that can walk you through. And don't forget, there's still a lot of time to go over to the adventure park and do all of the things that we love to do here in the town of Frisco.
Yeah, a lot of great
Tons of stuff.
tubing going on still.
It really is. Nora, thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Always great to see you.
Great to see you as well.
Thank you. We're going to take a quick break here on Focus on Frisco. Stay with us. As promised, Chad is going to be talking about all the money that is in the town of Frisco, so stick around. Welcome back to Focus on Frisco. As promised, Chad. Hi. They were making fun of us before the break about the riveting discussion that we're going to have, but you and I both know that this is what everybody wants to hear about. This is the stuff that keeps the town going. We need these revenues, and that's what you're going to talk about. The last time we talked, Chad, was, fall, maybe? As you were starting into the budget process. So we were talking about where things were landing, but now we get to talk about the year-end stuff. What happened in 2013? How did it look?
Well, 2013 was a very positive year for the town of Frisco in regards to revenues, which for me, the main focus that I like to keep in the forefront of my mind is, when governmental revenues are up, especially sales tax revenues, it just means that the business community is doing well, and we love to see that. More people are employed, families are able to stay here if they have decent jobs, and revenues are good. So we're happy to see that across the board.
Yes. Coming from the business side of it as well, it's been interesting to see and talking to other business owners. Some of the business owners that sometimes, you say how's business, and they go, that's right. But when they say it's great, it's good, it's positive, that's always fun to see, because I think that's a pretty telling sign when the enthusiasm level goes up from some of the business owners that aren't usually that enthusiastic, whether it's strong or not. So it's really fun to see, and certainly as a community member walking up and down the streets of Frisco, it's
been
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Busy is an understatement. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I think, the Christmas season was phenomenal, and it was really fun. Now, so that's the business side of it. When we start to look at, real estate and some of those other things, I guess, how do you want to organize how we talk about it? Do you want to talk a little bit more about sales tax, or do you want to kind of
let's talk about sales tax first,
Okay.
and then we'll move into lodging tax, and then
great.
the real estate stuff. It really has been a testament to the business community, to the marketing department of the town, to
Which has been
all the
fabulous.
folks who are running the adventure park and the marina. Everyone has really pulled together. And Frisco really has become a primary vacation destination, and it's really great to see. So, without further ado, let's talk about some sales tax revenues. For 2013, the full year, we were up 6.5%, which is about $360,000 in total for the year. And much of that was in the restaurant sector, hotels and inns, vacation rentals. And one of the interesting things we're seeing as well is the home improvement and home furnishing sectors last year were two of the categories that were up the most.
Interesting.
And that does speak to a pretty strong rebound in the real estate market finally.
Absolutely.
It was a rough few years. So.
Yeah. So as we, I guess we you hear people say all the time that we kind of live in this bubble. But our bubble got a lot smaller a few years ago, where it wasn't quite as cushy and full and, all of those things. And as we start to talk about this, where people are spending more at restaurants, people are spending the night more often, does it start to feel, I guess it could probably go unsaid, it starts to feel like people are feeling more comfortable loosening up their purse strings a little bit and spending a little extra money, which is a great thought for us, because this is where we are.
Well, based on the numbers that I've been looking at, especially towards the end of the year, and I'm hesitant to say this, knock on some wood here, but it does seem like the rising tide is beginning to float all boats.
Great.
We have 16 categories right now. We track revenue through sales tax revenue, and 13 of those 16 categories all showed pretty strong growth in 2013.
Wow.
So we're really, we want to keep this momentum going.
Yeah.
But as always, we're planning for the future,
right.
And making sure that we're prepared in the eventuality of another downturn or some external shock that happens that impacts this. So. Moving forward, again, with a lot of momentum,
right.
Everything seems to be positive. So
when you did budgeting in 2013, 12 for 2013, and you told us that you were up about 6.5% in the sales tax. Was that up from your projection or up from the actual numbers of the year before?
That was up from the actual numbers from the year before.
Wow,
Yep.
that's fantastic.
Yeah. Lodging tax was up almost 14%. And real estate investment fee revenue was also up 14% over the prior year. So yeah, again, like I said, it seems like that the rising tide is floating all boats, and again, a testament to the business owners here, a testament to the marketing efforts of the town, of the local chambers, everything. It's really been great, and we've all been working together for so long to get this kind of positivity. So it's good to see.
It really is neat to see, and it's. As Nora and I were saying, when you go not only in the town of Frisco, but say you're down in Denver and having a casual conversation and people start to get excited about talking about the town of Frisco. Oh, we love to come up. Oh, this is what we do. This is where we stay. It's exciting. I mean, the town has been working for a long time to make this a true destination. And it is a true destination. And people spend a lot of time and a lot of money. And whether it's on their second home, and that brings into the furniture and things like that. And I mean, it's just... I don't know, it's fun. It's exciting.
Yeah. And it's good to see the development and the construction come back, because that was such an important facet of the economy. And I think it was something that we hadn't really, we focused on it, that's for sure. But I think because we're such a tourism dependent economy, we tend to forget some of the other sectors that are also very important. And when we had the downturn in 08 and 09, the construction industry was impacted heavily, and it's great to see that starting to build back up.
So great.
Now, in regards to real estate investment fee revenue, which is 1% transfer tax on the transfer of property here, we are still between $300,000 and $400,000 less in 2013 than our high years in 2007 and 2008.
Really?
So I think we're seeing the volume come back,
right,
but the sales prices are not rebounding as quickly.
Interesting. That's a very interesting take on it. Okay. Anyway, we can start to talk about that maybe even toward the end of the year if you're starting to see any of that change with the people feeling more comfortable.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think there's still some fairly decent deals on the market right now, but as demand picks back up, financing is more readily available.
Sure.
Those prices will start coming back, and there's pluses and minuses to that as well.
Yes, you bet.
But it's nice to see building department revenues last year for permit fees and that kind of stuff. We're up 33% again. And some of that was related to the Whole Foods project.
Well, sure, but that's still a great sign.
Absolutely.
That's big. And touching on permits, if you want to start to do some work in the spring, we recommend that you start getting your permits pulled now, because I think it's going to be a big spring. I mean, I think people, again, it kind of goes to so many different facets, but I think it was a solid year, and I think people are excited about expanding it and making the town even better and more accessible.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly, and I think Frisco, as much as we want to be a primary vacation destination, the demand, people who want to be here, who want to live here, has been huge as well. I think we're seeing that properties are coming off the market a lot more quickly.
I think so too. I mean, even in our neighborhood, when it just seems like things are moving faster.
Yeah, and the Peak One neighborhood has just been chugging right along.
Oh my gosh.
It's been great to see the COs get issued on those and get people in there.
People are loving it.
Yeah, that neighborhood's really coming along. So we're excited about that.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Another sector that we wanted to touch on.
Well, let's we can talk about the adventure park and the marina.
Let's do that.
Two very big facets of getting folks to come up and spend more time in Frisco instead of just driving through. The adventure park last year, unbelievable. In 2013, we increased our tubing revenues by over $350,000 from the prior year. So we're almost at $1.2 million.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it really is, and again, I'm going to repeat it over and over again, but it's a testament to the folks out there who are keeping it up and running and keeping that experience a positive one for the folks out there, even as it gets busier and busier.
They're unbelievable out there.
Yeah,
they're just so laid back and so vacation oriented. Whether you're local, and we go all the time. Whether you're local, you just get there and you feel like you're on vacation for 57 minutes.
It's just so convenient for folks with families. The parking's great. The service is great.
And I've seen more people start to take those ski lessons
Yep.
and use that skiing aspect this year than I did all of last year combined.
Yeah, and that's a great partnership we have with Copper Mountain.
Yeah.
They send the instructors over for
That's
us. They schedule that stuff. And,
Yeah.
it's just a great opportunity for folks who want to, a little less stress and maybe getting out on the skis or a snowboard for the first time.
Less stress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's been a huge success story out there.
So that's a big increase in revenue.
Absolutely.
Is it something, I guess, what does it attribute? I mean, we talked about certainly the folks that are out there and the amenities that they continue to provide. And each year it seems like they're providing more and more. All 6 lanes were open the last time I was there, and that's huge. Do you see it taking that much of a jump again next year as you start to predict, or is that almost impossible?
I certainly don't see it taking that level of
Right.
a jump. A lot of it is we have limits as far as how many people we can get out there at
Right.
a time, and that stuff. But it's really a credit to the marketing efforts of the town to bring people up there,
Yeah.
and then just the general increase in tourism and visitorship.
Yeah.
And it some of the best marketing we have there is that it's right off Highway 9, and people can drive by and see it. So.
And you know what my favorite thing is on those really windy, blowy days, there are still people out there, and I've been one of them myself, but it's great because it's just fun.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the weather is. On those sunny days, you're flying down that hill, and it's great. But on those windy days, it's a riot. It is a riot, and you kind of bond with all those other people who are out there on those windy days.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate folks visiting us.
Absolutely.
That's for sure.
Yes, it's super fun. So, Marina.
Last year we had a pretty challenging year at the marina
Yes.
as far as water levels, being able to determine where they were going to be. And so that impacted our slips revenues quite severely because we didn't want to set up the docks and have folks have boats in the slips and then have to move the docks
Right.
every day because the water table kept going down. But in rental revenues for just float boats and fishing boats and runabouts, we actually set a record last year for the rental revenue,
Wow.
which was about $350,000.
Wow.
And
Seems to be a themed number.
well, and I think it's again a testament to the folks out there who dealt with the adversity of the water levels. There was a short portion of the season where we were having to drive folks out to the end of the
I
docks
remember that.
to get to their boats, and still, because the experience that we offer there is so incredible, folks still flocked to that place.
Yeah.
And also we instituted stand-up paddleboard rentals as well, and that did amazingly. So we're going to continue that next year, and
So cool.
hopefully keep going. And I don't think we're going to have any problem with low water levels this year.
I don't think so either. Let's just hope it doesn't all melt at once.
Well, we'll see how that goes.
Slow and easy.
Yeah, well, and I did hear, I think this week or next, they're going to start increasing the flows in the Blue River
Are
as
they?
well,
Wow.
just to start taking some of the water that's in there now out to prepare for the
I
runoff.
can't believe how much snow we have. I can't. I was reading the old Farmer's Almanac, and this was predicted. And I was reading it and fascinated by the fact that it's almost spot on with the predictions that it was going to be as high as it was.
What's been really amazing this year is we finally, after years and years, had the confluence of a good economy, or relatively
Yes.
good and growing economy, with a great snow year.
What a perfect combination.
We haven't had those two come together for a while, so that's I think that's why you're seeing the percentages.
It's so cool.
like
It's
we
so
have.
cool. What are you going to do with all that money?
That's not up to me, unfortunately,
Come on.
or fortunately.
Right, exactly.
You certainly contact your town council members to
Yes.
see what projects we have coming online for this year and next. But we certainly are investing some in maintaining the infrastructure that we do have,
Right.
making sure that we're prepared for eventual downturns in the future.
Yeah.
And again, we have a council election coming up in April, so I urge everyone to get out and speak with their potential candidates.
Absolutely.
And see what some of their priorities are.
Good. And I do want to remind everybody about that election coming up. Obviously, that's the first Tuesday in April. So make sure that if you haven't received your ballot already, for those of you who are registered, make sure that you find out where your ballot is and place it. It's a mail-in ballot this time. So make sure that you do vote, because all of the things that we talk about, whether it's me and Chad or me and Nora or any of the above, these are all things that you are not only impacted by but can help impact as well. So it's really important that you stay a part of the town and help to make some of those decisions, because they're exciting decisions.
That's for sure.
You know, we've got this summer, we've got some work being done on Main Street, or I guess this fall. So all of these things are going to be not only impact the town, but impact the folks that are wandering in and around and certainly living.
Mm-hmm.
So we probably can't touch on it too much, merely because we're still in the first quarter of the year. But I'm sure everybody wants to know how marijuana sales are going with the new law having been passed for recreational use. Do you have any insight for us? I mean, what are we? Is it?
Well,
helpful?
we certainly don't have any numbers that we can report
Right.
for 2014 as of yet. We will also have an issue. We only have right now. We have one combination retail marijuana
Okay.
and medicinal shop, and then we have one strictly medicinal dispensary as well. Because we only have two businesses, it's very difficult for me to report on the revenues derived from those
Right.
businesses, because it's very proprietary
Sure.
information. So hopefully at the end of this year, we'll put all those numbers together into
Okay.
one number and be able to report that. But until the end of this year, we really won't be able to report those
Okay.
numbers.
And there's another one potentially in the works?
Yeah,
another
I've heard
location?
out on Summit Boulevard.
Okay.
They're looking to open a new one, but I'm not sure where they are in the process. I think there's
Sure.
some building permits and stuff they need to
So
to
when
go
you
through.
guys were budgeting in the fall, was this, knowing that it was going to come to play, was this something that you budgeted? And how do you do that? I mean, this is more of an internal question, but how do you do that?
You know, in order, number one, we had to go to the ballot. We had to ask our voters for an additional 5% sales tax over and above the regular sales tax for retail marijuana sales. And as part of the Tabor process, we actually have to put a number in the ballot question.
Okay.
Because if we collect more than
Right.
that, then we have to refund that back to the taxpayers somehow.
Right.
I am happy to report the number that we put in the ballot issue. It was $250,000, I believe.
Okay.
We should be somewhere close to that, but I don't believe we're going to exceed that, so we
Okay.
won't have an issue with refunding that stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, you know, things are going well. We haven't seen any security issues
Right.
or anything like that. So seems to be going smoothly and without having a huge impact on any other services.
On any other, great. You know, when I had the chief and the sheriff on one of the last shows, it was interesting to talk to them about it, but they said the same thing. They said it's truly been pretty responsible, and people have been great about it, and that's good, because that.
Well, and I can only speak for the folks in Frisco who are embarking on those endeavors, that they are certainly very focused on dotting their I's and crossing their T's.
Can only
Again,
imagine.
because of the federal legal issues,
True.
it's not without risk, that's for sure. So
Yeah.
I've been very impressed with those folks.
That's fantastic. That's good. And then the last thing I want to touch on, Chad, is a little bit about the Whole Foods. That's certainly going to have an impact on our sales tax, amongst other things. What are we looking at? April?
Yeah, last I've heard, the end of April is their target open date.
Is Whole Foods target open date?
Whole Foods open date, and then I think the Rio Grande restaurant is kind of the next in line to
Okay.
open, and I think they're talking September perhaps,
Okay.
something along those lines. So yeah, we're very excited. You know, it was a years-long public process
Yes.
to figure out what the best
Years
use of that land
long.
was. And then, when Whole Foods submitted their recommendation or their project, the community really got on board, and
Yeah.
things have been moving along very well. So yeah, we're very much looking forward to getting them open. And,
How could we not be very much looking forward to it on a number of levels? I think it's great.
Yeah.
Hopefully the tax revenue, and that's certainly the side that you and I are looking
well, and
at.
it's another very stable source
Sure.
of tax revenue. I mean, even if we do see a downturn in the next few years, I think there's probably a good floor for the tax revenue that particular business will provide. So
Yeah.
I think that's really good. It's just another revenue stream that isn't necessarily so susceptible to the vagaries of tourism dropping
Right.
or construction dropping, something like that. So yeah, we're looking forward to it, and they seem to be a great fit for the community. So
Great. Love your positive attitude. Let's keep it up, and let's keep spending. Yes. All right, Chad.
Spend wisely.
Spend wisely, exactly. I'm just, welcoming our friends in, and while they're here, enjoy your vacation.
Well, we appreciate it.
Yes, we do.
That is for sure.
And it really is, and kind of on that note, that when we do spend money, whether it's us or our guests, it all just makes the town better, because when you do the budgeting every year, you guys know exactly where it needs to go to keep the town running and fun and functional. And those are the ways that we get there.
Well, and if
by
anyone
welcoming
if anyone
people
ever
into the
has
town.
any questions about the budget process,
Yeah.
about how we project the revenues and what happens, my door is always open. I'm always happy to answer any questions. I'm keenly aware of who pays my salary and who I work for, and it's you guys. So anything you need, let me know.
You're so level-headed, Chad. Right, I won't tell anybody. Well, this has been great. I appreciate it. And again, so many of these things you've got those numbers and all of this. If you want to delve into it anymore, and it really is interesting. I love this because it just tells us, where we are with the town. Talk to Chad. Can you
Please.
get any of these numbers online? Are there?
They haven't been published yet.
Okay.
We have our annual audit that's coming up here in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
We'll be in the process of publishing our community scorecard for last year. That should come out probably around June or so.
Okay.
And then all of our financial statements, our annual financial report will be available probably the middle to the end of June. And then you can review all these numbers in detail.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And then it's budget time all over.
And then we start over. That's right.
Woo, right. All right. Well, thanks for being on. I appreciate it. Always good to talk to you. And it's just, it's enlightening. It's fun. I like it.
Well, happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Good. Thanks. We'll see you again soon, I'm sure.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us here on Focus on Frisco here on SCTV 10. On behalf of the town of Frisco and everybody that worked so hard to make this happen and spent some time coming in to talk to us, we really appreciate it, and hopefully you guys appreciate it as well. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being here in the town, and we look forward to seeing you again next month on SCTV 10.